For those of you that have been following along and sharing your journey of pregnancy loss along with me, you may be aware that we are pregnant. It's very exciting and amazing. I have not been able to share any updates because the first trimester has kicked my butt with fatigue and nausea. So it has just been so much. And there are lots of updates. First things first, I am resting in the bed, and I will get to why towards the end of this because I'm at 13 weeks one day, and so had a little hiccup complication happen. And so we'll get into that in a second. But this whole pregnancy truly has been miraculous. And, when I say miraculous, I'm not saying that there haven't been, things that have come up that have been like, whoa, there have been moments that have been hard, but honestly, it's been incredible. One of the most interesting things about going through our losses was that, for those of you who don't know, we lost our daughter at 18 weeks, 5 days, and we thought it was due to cervical insufficiency. But we have since seen a maternal fetal medicine specialist, and he does not feel that is the case. He feels like, no, your cervix is good just based on medicine. And so I took him through the whole thing, and he said, actually, I don't fit into either category technically. As to what happened in a lot of women, actually, this is the case. So not technical incompetent cervix, not technical preterm labor. But for me, I'm going to be treated as preterm labor for this current pregnancy. So that means no cerclage, no stitch in my cervix. Y'all, it is about to get real. All that to say, we actually don't know what happened with her. My water broke, and I was 1 centimeter dilated, but because I wasn't fully dilated, I had to be induced. I don't fit into incompetent cervix. And those are the parameters for cervical insufficiency. You don't have to be induced at all. Baby just comes right on out. There are no contractions. There's no pain. You might feel pressure, but that's it. That didn't happen for me, which is crazy because, when you're told that for 3 years, you think, oh, something's wrong with my cervix. And that may not have been the case at all. And it turns out this is the exact thing that happened to my mentor. My mentor is in her later 70s. She had, I believe it was 5 losses, most of them later losses. And this was at a time they didn't do a cerclage. She saw a specialist. They said, this might be preterm labor. We're going to treat you with progesterone. And she ended up having 3 beautiful children and now has great grandchildren. All that to say, our second loss happened 9 months later after we lost our daughter, and it was a very early loss, and that was an almost dangerous miscarriage. I lost too much blood. It was really rough, and because that was really at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I guess it's technically been 2 years. And there's been a lot of time to heal. God's been really good to walk me through it, and I've had to give my grief, constantly to him. It's not been easy. And I remember in that second pregnancy, I had so much fear and terror. I prayed and prayed. I mean, there was nothing I could do. It was terrible. Through all of this, I've been able to help women, and I was already helping women find endometriosis specialists. Just because, that was the route that I took, but also spiritually through miscarriage, I feel like in pregnancy loss, people don't know how to navigate it because nobody's talking about it. And I think, if you sense a need, it's because you're supposed to do that. And that's, so that's what I have been doing. And so that brings me to, this pregnancy. I met my mentor through my pastors. I was at a meeting, they were there. And so it was truly like just Holy Spirit moment. She offered to be my mentor, and it's been incredible. So she's been teaching me, and it's been amazing. So that started at the beginning of the year. And I think it was the end of June when I met with her, and she just felt like God woke her up that morning and was saying to pray for my womb to open. So she had her husband come down, and they both prayed and prophesied over me. And it was incredible. I did record it for my husband because he wasn't there. And I'm really glad I recorded it, because 4 weeks later, I had a positive pregnancy test. Now, listen, this has never happened to me before. I've always heard of other people having miraculous things like this happen from prayer. And I believe that it happens. It's just never happened to me before. So this is incredible. For them, for my mentors, they're internationally known. They've helped all over the world, and they have prayed for wombs to open, and it has happened time and time again. So when I went and told them, his first reaction was like, yeah. I mean, it was like, yeah, I mean, this is, of course it happened. And I just, of course, she was ecstatic and happy and congratulations. But it was like, I mean, it was so funny, his reaction, because that's happened so many times, it didn't faze him. But this is our first rodeo, so we were just like, whoa. I did have spotting in the beginning. So unfortunately I had spotting. Ended up being nothing. It could have been, there's a lot of reasons people spot in early pregnancy and in the first trimester. And honestly, you could spot throughout your pregnancy and it's not a serious complication, but when you've had loss before, good and well, you don't want to see blood. So they started me on progesterone immediately, injections and vaginal progesterone, and to take alpha lipoic acid in case there was some sort of, blood clot, like how you can have the blood clot in between the baby where it attaches. And so alpha lipoic acid has been shown to help reduce that safely and to help reduce miscarriage. But of course, always talk to your doctor. Please don't just take medication that you hear about on TikTok. Please don't do that. Anyway, I continued to have spotting through that first month and a half, and on and off. It would be dark, it'd be light, this is why you always got to just contact your doctor. And so it was hard to kind of know why. Never had an answer. It did stop, but we got a couple of early ultrasounds out of it. I've had what I've felt to be like a supernatural peace through this whole pregnancy. I have not been in terror and fear until I think it was the second month. I had like several weeks of terror and panic and anxiety. This was so out of character for me. I did hear the Holy Spirit say, check your thyroid, but I totally dismissed it. We're all human. We have moments. And I just thought maybe I'm second guessing this. I keep an eye on my thyroid. It's big. I just have a big thyroid. So I'm always keeping an eye on it anyway. Like I had an ultrasound in February, just making sure everything was fine, and it was. Turns out I have what is called HCG-related hyperthyroidism. So I went to see an endocrinologist. He said, actually, this is perfectly okay. This is, mild, and it's not going to affect the baby. And what it's going to happen is, in the second trimester, pretty much the extra thyroid hormone is going to dump out. It's perfectly safe. It's okay. So that was best case scenario. I was like, what is going on with my thyroid? I was thankful that those symptoms only lasted 2 weeks. They went away. I honestly had a huge breakthrough. And like right before I had all those test results, and just, I felt so at peace and calm, and it's been incredible. To me, that's huge. There was a biological drive of fear, and, God still took care of it. Everything has been great up until yesterday and today. I have what is called incarcerated uterus. My uterus is stuck, y'all, in my pelvis. And so right now I have a catheter, and we're trying to get my uterus to flip without having to have a surgical procedure. Baby looks good. Baby is kicking and strong. But y'all, this is rough. We're just praying that uterus flips. I don't have to have that procedure. But hey, you know what? God's got this either way. Pregnancy after loss is not for the weak.